Hello.
Hi.
Welcome back to the Book Buddies. It's been a very long time. It is literally May 2nd.
We did so good. You didn't need to tell them that. I'm just kidding.
We have to admit.
I know.
I got sick as soon as I got back from LA.
Yeah.
Like, I filmed my vlog videos for this review and then went to bed, and I woke up so sick. And then the next time we hung out was my birthday.
Yeah, which was obviously busy.
And then we had one other hangout since then, but we watched Survivor instead.
Priorities.
So,
The options were Survivor or this book, which you'll find out which we prefer by the end of this video.
So we read Paybacks a Witch in February. Pretty sure it took me until March to finish it.
100%. I think my vlogs are the first real one is me admitting that I hadn't touched it, and it was already well into March, so.
Yeah. So Paybacks a Witch is a young adult, they're not children.
Shockingly.
Somehow. It's about, like, almost 30-year-olds.
Yeah, we were talking about this a little bit before we started filming.
Because we had to refresh our
memories. And, like, oh my goodness, I think Claire nailed it right on the head when she said, like, they're all the characters are immature and lack complete self-awareness. Like, they have no introspective nature whatsoever. They have no idea what they're thinking. They have no idea what's going on around them.
If you took a shot every time a character forgot their characteristics, you would die.
It's true.
You would be dead. Because literally they're not consistent within, like, on the same page sometimes.
Well, I was gonna say, like, they're either not consistent, like, they're not consistent kind of throughout the book, but I think the other thing for me is that they're so simplistic. Like, there are so many points in this book where the main character comes to the same realization, is saying the same words, and then is like, okay, moving on. And then the next, and like 30 pages later, someone else will be like, yeah, and she'll be like, oh yeah, and then like, nope, doesn't click. It takes till the end of the book. I'm like, honestly, I knew what the character realizes within the first couple of sentences of the book.
Yeah, also, the audience does not know what this book's about.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I guess we should start off with that.
So, Paybacks a Witch is about Emmy Harlow, who is not very powerful as a witch because she left her hometown, which is full of witchy magic, to go take on student debt in Chicago.
Yes.
Instead of, living for free in a mansion as
with
a witch.
Her badass parents and her cool friends. But she likes them, so that's good. And I know, does she? That's the question.
We don't know. But, because a decade ago, a player man who is known to sleep and leave girls and nothing else slept and left her.
And basically said, you're not powerful enough for me. Because I guess the other side of this is that her family, out of all the witch families in the town, doesn't have
as much magic.
Even
though they helped found the town.
Exactly.
They're like the bookkeepers.
The bookkeepers, yeah. They write everything down.
His is like the big powerful family, and he was basically like, sorry girl, like, not enough magic for me
with you,
and
not good enough.
Even though he literally does that to every woman with legs after putting his between hers, she was like, I'm gonna take this too personally and I'm gonna leave and not come back.
Like, undoubtedly an asshole thing to do. It's not great.
Right, but also if it's not to victim blame, but if someone has a reputation and you think, well, I'll be the exception. What in the Wattpad? Shut up. So Emmy's just stupid.
Well, and she leaves for so long. Like, she's
literally
gone
a decade.
For 9 years.
Yeah, and she doesn't visit or anything.
Yeah.
She's just gone.
Yeah.
And people don't visit her because she made it very clear, I don't want anything to do with you. Like, even her parents.
Yeah.
And it's not like her parents were problematic.
No, like, I mean, you don't always get along with your parents. You're always going to have issues with your parents. Yeah. But, like, all things considered, they sound like pretty fantastic people.
She was, like, literally, there was no reason for her to hate her parents besides they were witches.
Yes, yeah. Like, there's a conversation with her mom at some point in the book. I think it's somewhere. I'll see if I can find it. But basically, the mom is like, she's asking, like, main character, Emmy, is asking, like, you could have visited. And her mom says, you know we'd never have done that, not when you made it so clear that you didn't want us there. Like, she's talking about how they missed her so much, but they could tell that their own daughter didn't want to see them because it was a reminder of the town that she had left. Because of a stupid boy who broke up with her and hurt her ego, and she was gone for 9 years. Okay?
And it's not just she was gone for 9 years. She was gone for 9 years and is still not over this.
Yeah. I want, like, when I first picked up this book, and she talks about, like, you know, this past breakup, and, like, and she's, you know, in the first couple pages, she's really, like, hyping up, like, how awful it was, and, like, how bad it was when she left, and, like, you're like, oh my goodness, what happened? Like,
right, you think, oh my god, like, maybe they were engaged at like 18, and it was so dramatic, and, like, this was probably, like, one of the saddest breakups I'm ever gonna read. No, it was the school player being a school player.
Yeah, it was so...
Also, his name is Gareth. I know. Who wants to say Gareth during sex? Apparently the whole town, but still. Because not only does Emmy sleep with him in high school, the female equivalent of Gareth, our love interest, Talia, sleeps with him as a friends with benefits situation.
That's true, yes.
So they're not dating, keep that in mind. Actually. They're friends with benefits. And then, while he's being friends with benefits, which is not an exclusive thing, you're allowed to sleep around. It's probably, like, morally wrong, but also they're not dating. He starts dating another girl, Emmy's best friend, whose name Lyndon,
I think? Yeah.
I just saw it on the back, but I was going to say I don't remember. Honestly. And then Lyndon finds out, oh no, the player bad boy of the town, who is almost 30 and is still a player bad boy and never has not been a player bad boy, is cheating on me. Whose fault is this? Emmy's, because she left.
Apparently.
Not to victim blame, but Lyndon's fucking stupid. She deserves everything she got.
I think it might have been, like, I can't remember now if Talia and Gareth were together first or if Lyndon and Gareth were together first. Either way, Lyndon hooks up with the guy who her best friend was so traumatized by, she leaves the town and does not want to ever come back. For 9 years and never wants to come back.
She almost doesn't want to come back in the start of the book.
Yeah.
Like, she's only coming back because there's some magical equivalent of, like...
it's like a challenge.
I don't even know what it is.
So, like, it's like this magical challenge when they come of age at a certain time. There's this challenge to see which family gets all the power. And the one family, because they don't have much power, is supposed to be, like, the judge of the other families. So she has to come back because she's, like, the next in line.
To be the judge.
So the power's going to shift to her to, like, preside over these events or whatever. So, but she's debating not even coming. The fact remains that Lyndon is she made questionable choices, and I still think Gareth was an asshole. I'm not trying to, like, play that down. I think he was. And I don't think he was right in what he was doing, because I think he was with Lyndon first and then started cheating. Still does have a reputation. Your best friend did go through this. It's not a shocker.
You literally, because, like, they stopped talking, Lyndon and Emmy. Like, you literally lost your best friend because of this guy.
Over this guy.
And, like, you keep talking while I try to find it. So I have it highlighted.
I know, it's just...
where they're talking about it.
It's just so... So, anyway, we've got these 3 girls. They've all been... like, obliterated by this one man who sounds like an idiot. Like, we really don't get any character development from him.
The only thing we know about him is he doesn't recognize... Okay, in the first chapter with Gareth, Emmy is in a bar, and the lights are low. It's been a decade. It's been 10 fucking years, okay? 10 years. 10 fucking years. And I just have to keep saying that.
She's changed
She's cut her hair.
Yeah.
Very short compared to what it used to be.
She used to have very long flowing locks.
And now it's, like, probably shorter than mine.
I think she dyed it. I don't know. She used to have very witchy hair. She was very proud of it.
Yeah, now she's, like, blonde.
Now she's, like, not, you know, very modern.
Yeah. And he flirts with her, and she's like, he doesn't even recognize me? Like, what a dick. Like, well, factoring in, 1, this guy's plastered. 2, it's dark. 3, you cut your hair. No
4,
shit.
it's been 10
4,
years.
yeah, it's been 10 years. No shit, he doesn't recognize you. Are you stupid?
I know.
Like, we were supposed to hate this guy.
I know.
And besides him being a player,
like,
there was no reason to hate him.
Honestly, he's not enough of a character to hate.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so, like, he's not given any characteristics beyond, like, he's made some poor decisions. And he's not great at, like, apologizing for that. And, you know, he's kind of an idiot. Like, but it's all very vague. And honestly, the biggest reason that I agree with what they decide to do, which we'll get to, is because essentially this Gareth's family, their family has been in power for so long that
they have a lot of power.
Because they've been winning for so many years that they're kind of taking over all of, like, the businesses in the town. Like,
well, they're
really
taking over the
successful.
businesses in the town because no one else is capitalizing on it.
Yeah,
it's not even because they're powerful. They're just like, oh,
I think they
our
do
town
say
is
that,
witch themed. Well, let's set up a witchy version of medieval times. And you know what? People like medieval times. Why not spice it up by adding witches?
Yeah.
So they go there. And
true.
Everyone in the book is like, everyone but his family is like, oh my god, I can't believe that they would keep doing this. Like, I'm sorry, you do realize that we live in a capitalist society, so you have to make money somehow, even if you're a witch.
Yes. And I do think they do, she does bring it up. She says, like, the winner of the challenges does get luck and, like, success. So it does play a part of it, but still, like, it's that's not all it is. So anyway, they decide, because the 3 of them have all been hurt by this guy, they're like, we should band together and we should, you know, work together to win this challenge. And then, like, as a secondary afterthought, they're like, and yeah, like, maybe we'll, like, do some damage to their business, maybe to start taking away some of their success and, like, start doing better.
But also, like, Emmy's family business, so Gareth has, like, the fucking amusement park in his backyard or whatever, right? Emmy's family business is a dusty old bookshop. Not even, like, a normal bookshop. It's, like, dusty and old, and, like, no one but her dad wants to be there.
Yeah.
So, no shit, your family business sucks.
I know.
It's not even, like, if a rare book collector came to your town, maybe you'd get some business.
Yes, some book
but you
nerds.
really
I would
need
like to see it, but, you know.
Yeah, but, like, you really need to, fuck, what's the word? When you, like,
spice things up. Or,
well,
like,
just, like,
expand the business.
Yeah, expand. Buy some Harlequin romance novels, for fuck's sake. That's the most like,
bring in some
literally
new
do
people.
The bare minimum.
Yeah, so that's definitely, like, to me, that aspect of it is really, like, the most, I guess, menacing, if you can call it that, menacing part of, like, what's being done to the other families. So, like, for me, that's the most justifiable reason in banding together and being like, okay, let's take this family down a peg or two. Like, let's take back our town. Understandable. But that doesn't even have anything to do with Gareth. Like, he doesn't know what's going on. Like, his grandma's the mastermind, apparently. I don't know. That's what it comes across as. But I'm like, just the hatred they have towards him, I feel like is just not really justified in the writing, at least. Like, it is. I get it. He's an asshole. But for 10 years...
Yeah, like, you're really not gonna get over it. But here, I found the part where Lyndon talks about how she hooks up with Gareth. So this isn't until, like, 150 pages in. So Emmy is like, I have missed us, Lynn. I've missed you. And Lyndon's like, have you? Because I've tried so hard, Emmy. So hard to keep us together. To keep us friends. And sometimes it seems like you want that too. And I feel like I still have you. Like, we're still us. But then other times... you feel so far away. Like, we never saw each other again. You might be totally okay with it. And that's her excuse for sleeping with this guy.
Yeah, which,
like, you know, I honestly didn't think you were coming back. That's why the thing with Gareth ever stood a chance. I'd never have looked at him twice otherwise, but I thought you were over Thistlegrove for good.
Okay, so...
What? So you're sleeping with this guy because your friend abandoned you?
It's just, like, such a lack of communication.
It's not even a lack of communication. It's a lack of critical thinking skills. Like, why? In what world does that make sense? I'm not even done.
I know, it's so bad.
Done with this place. Done with us. With me. And that blows, Emmy. It truly fucking blows on top of everything else to feel like my best friend in the world had disappeared on me. And then they have, like, a cheerful, like, oh, I'm sorry I hurt you. But, like... Girl, you just admitted the only reason I fucked this dude who screwed you over is because I lost you.
Which, okay,
I can't feel sorry for her. I'm sorry, but I genuinely just don't give a fuck about Lyndon.
I know. I feel like Lyndon is definitely kind of like a hype girl behind the scenes kind of thing. Like, she doesn't really get much of a character either. She just kind of serves as like a way for Emmy to kind of figure things out because she can't do it on her own apparently.
She's so stupid.
But anyway, like, I understand. I also didn't mind Lyndon. I think it's because I just felt like she was so 2D that there wasn't much to hate. But I also just felt like I hated Emmy more. That's
true. Emmy and
I
Talia,
felt bad for Lyndon because I was
so
like
much more.
Yeah, like I felt bad for Lyndon because at least she was like trying, but Emmy just wasn't giving her anything. However, just talk. Just reach out. Be like, hey, we're not talking. Like, I'm seeing Gareth, or like I'm thinking about this with Gareth. Like, I don't know, just say any of this. That's what I mean by lack of communication. Like, it doesn't take, if you're worried about your best friend drifting away and you care about that,
yeah, tell her.
Ask her, are you coming home? What's going on?
Can I come down for the day? Like,
there's an abundance of options, and like none of them were
I
utilized.
moved to
Vancouver
from
Calgary.
So that's
what?
How many?
10, 12 hours?
Like driving.
Yeah.
An hour and a half fine, but flying is expensive.
Yes.
We still talked. Yeah. We video called. Yeah. Not every day.
No.
Sometimes, like, we probably texted at least
once every 2 or 3 days, at least.
Yeah, but we wouldn't always talk. Like, there would be months between us video calling, but we would still chat.
Still friends.
Because we know how to do that.
It's not that hard.
It really isn't. And it's not like because they're witches, they don't have phones.
Yeah, exactly. Like, oh my goodness. So, anyway, the characters, they're either just, like, they don't have much to them, plus they're stupid, plus they're annoying. It's just not great.
Yeah.
I feel really bad that I'm harping so hard on this. It's fine. But honestly, like, it was not one of my favorite. I can see maybe why someone might pick it up if they relate to any of the characters somehow. Because I get it, like, it's kind of like feeling like you're the underdog, like feeling like you're getting overlooked, feeling like you have so much more to offer, and then not.
But who's overlooking her?
That potential. Well, that's my thing is, I feel like she just takes for granted all of these amazing things she has in her life, like her parents, her friends. I mean, this town is really cool. Like, the way she describes it, I'm like, wow, this sounds amazing. Right? It's like,
oh my god.
So there's this beautiful
one scene where Talia and Emmy are hanging out, and Talia's like, let's go get coffee, and Emmy's like, probably not gonna be as good as my Chicago coffee. And then whoop-de-doo, they have her favorite type of coffee.
Yes,
and she's like, oh, maybe this town doesn't suck.
Yeah.
Like, that's maybe what it's gonna take.
Changed in 10 years.
You could literally ship the coffee to your house with Amazon Prime.
I know, it's not that hard. Anyway, so I'm just like, I feel like she overlooked so much just because she was butthurt that she wasn't as powerful as everyone and never would be.
And because this guy didn't want to fuck her for the rest of her life.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I get the hurt. I just don't think it justifies
anything.
What she did to all of the people she loved. Because she straight up just didn't visit with them, left them hanging, didn't really talk to them, didn't come to visit much. Like, was kind of like peace out after they had loved and supported her whole life. And had kind of set her up to take up the family business and all of this stuff. Like, yeah, it was pretty much like they thought that she was on the same page, and then she just kind of peaced out and never looked back.
And then gets offended that they didn't do more. It's like, dude, you're the one that wanted space.
Forgiving. Like, they are very forgiving.
Yeah, like, you're the one that wanted space. What else are they supposed to do?
They gave you what you wanted. Very clearly wanted. And throughout the entire book, they're all like, yes, it hurt us, but, like, it's okay. And also, like, we just want you to remember how much you love this town. And it's so obvious. I feel like it says it right in the beginning. It just talks about how great this place is. Like, within the first couple of pages.
Yeah, she's talking about, like, the feeling of the magic coming back.
And how amazing
and, like, the first chapter, I thought this is going to be a good book. And then...
Yeah, I know. Because, honestly, the writing actually... There's some interesting lines. I think there's some good descriptions. I do. I'm going to give it a little bit of credit.
The characters aren't consistent enough for the writing to be good.
The describing, the one-liners, there's a few funny ones in there, but the characters are so
bad.
that it just ruins anything.
Speaking of bad characters, we should mention Talia more.
Ah, yes.
Who's Talia if not our love interest? Because this is a fucking rom-com.
Yes, of course. How could we forget? It's very
easily.
Very easy.
Very easily we could forget.
I know.
Okay, so Talia
mm-hmm.
is basically the female Gareth.
Yes.
But queer, so it's okay.
Mm-hmm. Pretty much, yeah. She's the other head of the family. So we've got Lyndon's brother as a head, and then we've got Talia as a head, and then we've got Gareth as the head, and then Emmy, the main character, is like the overseer of the whole competition. And so Talia, exactly like you said, pretty much, and she just, it doesn't
because
click.
You have the line
I do. So
to prove it.
When they first meet in the bar again, right after Gareth doesn't recognize Emmy, she's describing Talia as like in high school, you know, she only pursued girls, the prettiest ones, you know, the best of the best. They were all of them hopelessly smitten with her, and invariably crushed when she eventually lost interest and wandered away to her next pursuit. It wasn't that she was cruel so much as easily bored and completely frank about her disinterest in inhabiting any relationship beyond a month or two. Getting your heart broken by Talia Avramov was one way or another was basically a Thistle High's queer girl rite of passage, one for which you could really only blame yourself.
Does that not
Who
sound
does
like
that sound like?
Gareth!
You know, my God, not great, but she's
just like
it.
more, she's just more stone cold. But also, like, I feel like she's upfront about it, sure, but it's his known reputation.
I know. It doesn't really, like, it doesn't click with her even. And there's another part of the book where they're talking about, like, another girl in town in passing, and they're laughing about, like, oh, she's probably still crushed by your breakup. Like, she probably has a shrine of you in her room. She's probably still not over it. Girl, you're the one talking. You're still moaning about something that happened 9 years ago from another guy that literally doesn't even have enough of a personality to leave any lasting impression on me through this entire book. Like, it's so frustrating. The fact that they're so similar and she just doesn't realize it at all. Like, it drives me insane.
Also, Talia's supposed to be this, like, cold, cunning,
yeah.
like, stone-hearted bitch.
Secret softie, but, like...
Yeah, okay. But then she has lines like...
Oh, yeah, that was my favorite.
God, where was it?
While you find that, the other thing I find funny about Talia, there's another line where, like, they're talking about Gareth and how he's, like, you know, he's this rich guy who's, this entitled dickhead has sailed through his whole life with a silver spoon in his mouth, getting exactly what he wanted at every turn, including the three of us. Guys, you are also rich, privileged, living in mansions, like, owning your own businesses, living in this beautiful town. Like, you're all assholes. If we're going on, like, silver spoon in his mouth, that's all of you. I get so frustrated by them. Like, they're so disillusioned about who they are and how they've been brought up, and I just cannot stand it. I'm like, you guys are so blind. It's endlessly frustrating. But yeah, this is also funny.
Oh, I can't. I don't know where it is. I have so many
notes. It was something about Talia. Someone came up with an idea. I remember that much. Excuse me.
Oh no! I need to find it.
I know it's too good.
It was like I saw it earlier.
I know. It reminded me of another part of the book that made me cringe that I'll just stare. So her grandma is another side character that helps cheer Emmy along.
Yeah. Like
all the characters in the book, honestly. And she's described as like this badass who, like, you know, just this foul-mouthed kind of like old woman who doesn't care what anyone thinks and does her own thing. And I laughed because, like, a couple paragraphs before, she says, "Don't I know it? What a friggin' rush," right? Like friggin', you know, like Frigging. And then a couple sentences later, it's like, "She'd been exactly like this since I could remember her, unapologetically foul-mouthed." Okay, she didn't even say fucking. Like, it's just like, oh, it just makes you groan, you know? It takes you out of the writing, which I think makes it that much worse.
Sorry, guys.
I know, it's so good.
I don't remember part of it, but Talia says, "Fuck yeah," and it's like, no, she didn't.
No, she said, yeah. What did she say? It was like, It's so funny. It's just for coming, like, being such a badass, like, cool character, the word she used just made me laugh. Because it was so...
Well, but that's not the only line like that. Like,
no.
Talia is not how she's described at all. Like,
No.
she's supposed to be this cold-hearted person.
Yeah.
And, like, every time she talks, I'm like...
No, not really.
Where is this cold-hearted person?
I know.
Like, it's part of the characters not being how they're described.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. You know what? Maybe part of it is that, like, the main character, Emmy, is just such an unreliable witness because she has all of these ideas of what people are in her head and how things were when she was a kid. But when you actually look at the characters and how they interact with her and what they say, it's like, are you
literally
blind?
On this page, Talia says dead ass.
Yeah, like...
No, she didn't. She did not say dead ass.
I know, it's so bad.
You cannot tell me.
I'm now convinced that Emmy is just so blind to the people around her that she actually has no concept of, like, who they actually are. And this book is just her realizing. I think...
Right, so here's how Talia likes her coffee. Mm-hmm. This says a lot about her as a character. So she takes a sip of her espresso, which she drank so black and bitter, even I'd have considered it a punishment.
Yes.
Because that's the type of character she is.
She's supposed to be this, like, you know,
gives no fucks.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
I eat babies for breakfast. Yeah. And then she says
dark
dead
magic.
Ass.
Like, yeah. She's just... you have to read the book, I think, to really understand that she is just too confusing. It's like Emmy has this idea of her in her head that just does not at all what she's like. And it's so frustrating because she keeps bringing it up and you're like...
She's nice to these, like, ghosts that you can see in this forest or whatever.
She's, like,
and Emmy's like,
after them.
She has a heart.
Like, shocking.
She says dead ass!
No, it's not.
You really think?
It's not that hard to figure out.
Oh my god, where the fuck is this part?
I know, I'm hoping you can find it.
I literally was looking at it and I laughed about it for so long. I should have folded the page again.
I know.
Oh, here it is. Okay. Fuck yes, Talia had hissed, pounding a fist onto... That's your knee, sorry. Onto the table. You and me then, Harlow. It's gonna be bomb.
Bomb, that's what
the fuck? Who are you and what did you do with Talia? What happened to who she's supposed to be?
Like, I actually, you know what? I feel like how... Talia, there's parts of her that I'm like, honestly, she's funny. Like, she's her own person. She doesn't care what anyone else thinks. I'm like, that's great.
But it literally does not match how we're told she is.
No, not at all. Like, she's kind of like a lovable nerd, but that is not how she's described at all.
She literally says,
I know, I'm dead.
Oh my god.
And this is copyright 2021. In case you were just, like, thinking, oh, maybe it was the time. No. That's not it. That's not it.
Oh my god.
Anyway, yeah.
Oh yeah, because, like, so, like, Talia's the type, like, she drinks dark coffee, and, like, one of her ancestors is named Dread Lady.
Yes.
And like, her mansion is dark, and it has, like, red accents and black walls.
Very gothy.
And they're just evil, but then she goes, that's the bomb! Dead ass! No, she don't, like, I think if this book was a young adult novel...
Actually, yeah.
About, like, 13-year-olds.
Turning it serious.
13-year-olds getting revenge on a guy who's been mean to them in class.
Yeah, and
with no romance.
Someone's heart.
Then it would have been believable. But
I think the expectations of the book, they're like 27 or 26. I don't know. The other side of that coin is the romance, which I feel like we haven't talked about quite yet. But, like, I don't know, man. I haven't read that romance. That's kind of the point. Like, I haven't read much romance, so I think Claire has more authority on that topic, but I don't know. There were not...
The smut wasn't even good.
No, like, the sparks...
Literally, right here, weak smut. That's my comment. Weak smut. I've read enough of it to know.
There you go.
It's weak in here.
She's the authority. No, but, like, and even the romance part of it, like, it's just, like, I had no feeling of connection there. I don't know. It was not... that strong.
My other comment, literally on the next page, is damn, wish we could have seen those orgasms instead of being told. Because I think Emmy's like, wow, you made me come like 10 times. Yeah. And Talia's like, well, that's what I'm good at. Like, then show me. Don't tell me.
be a young adult novel. Like, embrace the fact that you're just not...
You're writing for 13-year-olds.
I think that was, like, if you go into this book, you know, expecting these things, maybe you'll enjoy it more. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just, when I picked this up, I thought it was going to be, like, I thought it was going to be focused on the romance and, like, with some actual, you know, like, dark topics.
Yeah.
But I think what really, like, there was a line at the very end where she talks about, where was it? And then a sudden fierce spark of elation lit deep in my gut. Everything I couldn't have. All the things being a Harlow had denied me. The scars that I still bore. None of it mattered anymore. Because I was about to be the greatest possible someone I could imagine. The magical victor of this town and the voice of Thistlegrove. A new kind of history in the making and the chance to make it my own. Like, what? You live the most privileged life I can think of.
But Casey, now that she's not a witch, she has to pay student loans.
It's so hard out here. Like, I get it. I don't want to diminish her feelings.
Diminish it.
I just feel like she has no self-awareness.
She
does
doesn't.
Any of the characters, and it just drives me insane.
There's this part, I'm at the 3rd act breakup right now.
Yeah.
So, even though the romance is totally unbelievable, we still have to have a 3rd act breakup.
Of course.
And Talia's like, I like you, Emmy. And so the whole thing is, throughout the book, Emmy's like, I'm not staying.
Mm-hmm.
And Talia's like, I'm not leaving, and I don't expect you to stay. And then the 3rd act breakup.
Like, once you leave the town, your magic starts to fade. So it's justifiable why Talia doesn't want to leave, because she'd be leaving behind everything she loves and this power that might never come back. Like, it's understandable. Anyway, continue.
Yeah, and then, like, so the whole time she's like, I'm not leaving, and Emmy's like, fine, because I'm not staying, like, we'll just fuck and then leave each other.
Yeah.
And then the 3rd act breakup, Talia's like, well, you're gonna leave. And Emmy's like, well, you're not coming with me. Well,
we were all aware of this.
I think I knew this before I started reading the book.
And it's kind of that mentality of, like, they both secretly hope they can change the other person.
Yeah, and then, but here's...
so annoying.
So it's like, where is it? I like you, Emmy, she bursts out, throwing up her hands. And I could easily see myself much more than liking you if we gave this a real chance. And how are we supposed to do that? I said, feeling lead-in, suddenly hopeless. If we're going to act like some kind of cursed princess, doomed to never wander so much as a foot away from here. Oh, so I'm being unreasonable? She yanked herself off the bed. Oh yeah, this was like right after they had sex.
Good.
The sheets around her, the glitter of her eyes starking against the gloom. How about you? You love it here. You're fucking dying to stay. Anyone with eyes can see that. But you refuse to admit it. And why? Just because some right asshole broke your heart a decade ago. And then I wrote, a man who somehow fucked you up so badly, you have to take him down?
Yeah,
okay.
I know.
And then she keeps like, or were you planning on spending your whole life running away from here? Letting teenage shitbag Gareth dictate who you are. Like, you're literally doing the same thing.
I know. But, like, also...
That's why the book has a plot, is because you were letting this guy dictate who you are and what your self-worth is.
They're like, I think there's even a line where she's like, I don't want him to control my life. I'm like, bitch, you moved away from the place you loved for 10 years and are refusing to accept that you did it over a guy. Because of this guy, like, you're so blind to the fact that, like, I don't want him to affect me. Dude, he literally changed the course of your life. Like, too little, too late, man. He definitely had an impact. It's time to accept that and move on. Like,
it's so stupid.
And, like, Talia just spelled out the entire conflict there. Like, as stupid as it was, and as stupid as it was coming out of her mouth, the reader, I think, caught on to that within the first chapter. And it takes 300 and something pages for the main characters to find it out. It's so frustrating. Like, seriously, Emmy has the same conversation with every loved one in this town.
Yeah.
And they're like, sounds like you really like it here. And she's like, no, I don't. Because I like being independent and having my own business. Because
it's not even her business. Also, she works in fake witchy items.
She packs, what are those things, subscription boxes?
Yeah, for like
and she's like, Instagram this is my passion. And I'm like, okay, fair enough. Everyone has their own passion. I'm not judging. But also the way she talks about this career, it's like, be it, like, that's it, like, this is the best career you can have, and she's never gonna find anything like this ever again, and it's her passion, and she's worked so hard, and I'm like, girl, you can do this job from the town, A, and B,
do you know how much more money she would make doing that in the witchy town that has, that has tourists? Like there's tourists in this town. If you sold fake witchy boxes,
I would buy it.
So many people, you would be a billionaire. Gareth's family would be left in the dust. Excuse me? Like,
I'm done.
This book cannot be set in, 2000 and whatever the fuck, and not know how internet culture and, tourism works.
It's so frustrating.
Also, every time Emmy would talk about how, her family's the weakest or whatever, I would just write, maybe your family shouldn't be so lame.
Yeah. Okay, that's the other thing, is it takes, obviously she's a little butthurt. She's like, why isn't everyone else so powerful and I'm just so weak? And she's so hurt by it. And the fact that Gareth can't love her because of it, that she pieces out. But honestly, they are powerful, but they have this weird family thing where they're they can't share that they get these powers. Basically this whole thing is they can sense the town, and they're one with the town, and they basically filter the town's magic so it can be used by the rest of the families. But for some reason her parents couldn't tell her that before. I forget why.
Probably because they were we wanted to wait until you were of age or something stupid.
I don't know. It was so dumb.
But literally, she'll be damn the Blackmores and their stupid shitty strength. It's not their fault your family sucks.
I know. And she blames everyone else for this bitterness and envy she feels. And I'm like, dude, you need to work through that. Go to therapy.
Yeah,
it sucks, but nothing in life is fair.
But also she can't go to therapy because she's a witch. So how do you...
I know, it's true. I know.
Also, no one knows that there are real witches in this town.
Yeah, there's the witch families, and then just
everyone
random
else,
other people
and tourists.
In the town. And tourists.
Also, my favorite thing is
they don't really delve into, which would be interesting.
Right?
But they don't really talk about that at all.
No. Especially, here's the thing. So they're doing these contests, right?
Mm-hmm.
And one of them, it's these big monsters come out of the ground or whatever, and they have to fight them.
And it's the height of tourist season. Because it's Halloween.
How are you hiding this from people?
That's what I'm saying. There's going to be people
and there
around.
Was no description. Also, when Emmy becomes the announcer lady or whatever the fuck it is.
She's a giant.
She's so big. She grows and her voice booms across the land and the tourists just...
Where are all the normal people? I think they might explain it kind of they do in Harry Potter. It's kind of they kind of don't see it or something.
It doesn't make any sense.
They just don't acknowledge it at all. Honestly, the concept for this book sounds so fascinating. It's this cool magic town. I think I mentioned it in one of my vlog things too, but I was kind of disappointed in the magic too. There's supposed to be these great trials, and sure, they were fun, but they were also very predictable and not that exciting in my opinion.
No, I thought those were going to be the best part of the book, and I just read them and it was so
bored. I was like, what?
The descriptions sucked in them. They were over too fast.
Yeah.
I don't even remember them really. And it was all
focused on the character. I don't know. I think it's because the characters weren't that exciting either, so it was just, it was this whole plan that they're going to mess over Gareth, and that was just kind of downplayed, so it didn't even feel
it didn't feel important.
Big. So I don't know. I just felt that
also,
was supposed
his
to be the
grandma
of the book,
got really offended about it during the first challenge. And I think that should have been the third act.
Yeah, I agree.
Drama.
Drama.
Is the grandma being
over.
Wait a minute.
This isn't fair.
They're fighting.
That's against the rules.
And also, she was a cartoon villain there.
She was. It
was so annoying.
Basically,
and then,
every character in this book is just
annoying.
So annoying and just not...
But... The third challenge, we get a plot twist. Talia gets hurt.
Yes.
So Emmy has to compete for her. And Emmy's cousin gets the chance to be the announcer lady.
Yes.
Which was her rightful... It should have been her all along.
Because
Emmy
she was the one that stayed
in
the town. And she actually is
gives
part
a
of the...
fuck?
Yeah. Thank you. Yes, gives a fuck.
Yeah.
And so... And Emmy is all why is she so grumpy towards me?
Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah. And it's dude, you left for 10 years and then came swinging back and we're yeah, I'm gonna do this and take all the power.
Yeah.
And she's sitting there dude, you left.
And then
this is so unfair.
Somehow Emmy wins the challenge.
Yeah.
And the challenge is transport yourself around town to find these keys or these things of light.
Yeah.
And she's the only one who can figure out the last one, and it's just like the lake, the special magical lake.
Like, it's so
like, you're really telling me that Gareth didn't know about that?
Yeah.
I refuse to believe it.
And then, okay, transitioning from that thought. So she plays and she wins, but obviously she was playing in Talia's stead, like, as, like, filling in for her. So Talia technically wins.
Yeah.
But then Talia cedes the win to the Harlows, to Emmy's family. Yeah. So, not only do these characters suck, but there is no character growth. She gets all the power in the end. She finds out that, you know, like, oh, I can be special, I can be someone, and then suddenly she's happy and she's willing to stay. It's like, dude, like there's just no growth there. She went off sulking because she wasn't powerful for 10 years, comes back, gets power, and is like, yay! It's like, I don't know, she felt so empty. I was like, I didn't feel like she learned anything other than she was a shitty person to the people she loved and she felt kind of bad for it. Yeah. That's the only thing she learned.
Like, even when they're at the celebration for the win, Gareth isn't there, and she's like, Gareth wasn't even here, probably licking his wounds and too embarrassed to show his face, or maybe he'd been stuck with maintaining some of the Orient spells, I don't know what that is, as punished for his failures.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up about Gareth. If I ever have to hear his name again, I'm gonna kill you. I know. That's a little harsh.
I know.
But, like, Emmy, shut the fuck up about him.
She just gets very frustrating, man. Yeah, honestly, this book was a lot. You can tell I was having troubles getting through it because I bookmarked the end of the book, so I would just know how far away I was from it while I was reading it. Yeah. It took me so long.
It was so
Not
bad.
saying that it doesn't take me long for other books too, but yeah, this one was like aggressively bad. Yeah. I was gonna compare, so I've got sticky notes, not a lot, and like some writing. Highlighting is really hard to see, but like not like a lot. Like if we turn to, you know, a page, there's not that many. If you just, you know,
it's more likely to
be
blank.
Laura Lamont, which we still have to do to coming. You can just see the difference. There's actually different colors. If you like flip to random pages, there's like highlights on more of them. It might be hard to see because they're yellow, but like so much better.
You use like 2 different colors of highlighter because you're so excited.
So what I do is I underline things I like and then things that I want to talk about or I think are important to the plot. So that's why I have 2 colors. This one has a variety. This one you'll notice pretty much only purple, which is the color that I used to like underline stuff I wanted to talk about.
Mine mine has a lot of comments. My pen color changes, but that's because my pen died.
Yeah, fair. Anyway, I don't think there's anything else I want to say about this. It was just
either. It was a lot bad.
And I think, well, we were at 42 minutes. So sorry.
We thought this was going to be 10 minutes.
I thought it was going to be 10 minutes because there was like, but I guess there was enough to hate on.
Yeah. A good thing about this book is the chapters had chapter titles.
It's true, and that was fun. I did like that. And I will say, you know, I still think there was some fun writing in the book. It's just that, unfortunately, it was very much a character-driven plot, and the characters sucked.
No, because, okay, it was more of a character-driven plot, but
it kind of was,
I love character-driven books.
True.
So that was not the problem with this book before you try saying, because I've seen a lot of people do that. They'll be like, oh, I didn't like this book. Oh, well, it's a character-driven book.
Yeah.
I love those. This fucking sucked. Yeah. Also, there's a dog.
Sucks, so.
Emmy has a pet dog. Yeah. The dog's only in, like, the first chapter.
Rude. Period. Like, rude. And, like, they are bonded. Like, it seems like they're best pals. And I forgot about that until you said it. Right now. So, on that basis alone.
Yeah. So,
Not good.
That was our review of Paybacks a Witch.
That's the conclusion.
Our February read. So, we do have March coming. We just have to meet up again to film it.
Yeah.
I have to finish reading it. And then, maybe for April, we have a special guest joining us. So, we have to now plan around 3 schedules.
So, that could be interesting. But that will also be coming.
Yeah.
You can look forward to more
have
ranting.
To read it.
I know, same.
But they're coming. They're coming.
Yeah.
They're coming. So,
thanks for waiting and
we hope you enjoyed
this train wreck.
If anyone knows how to crochet, hit me up.
Yeah, that's true. That is Let's end the video on that note.
Yeah. On a happier note, I'm learning to crochet. Okay.
All right. Anything
Bye.
else? Yeah,
We
bye,
will see you in
guys.
the next
We'll see you in the
video,
next one.
and have a good May.
Yeah, have a great May.
Okay, bye.